The Fed's monetary policy announcement for July is out, and it's worth spending some time to decode what the Fed is trying to communicate with markets. To begin with, let's take a look at the highlights. Firstly, the Fed funds rate is unchanged at 5.25% to 5.5%, and this was a unanimous decision by the Federal Reserve's board. The second important metric that we're looking at is labor market conditions, because this is the second half of the Fed's dual mandate. So according to the Fed, the labor market is still pretty solid, but you are seeing some slowdown there. So your unemployment rate has actually moved up a little bit to 4.1%. The third important metric is inflation. And if we look at inflation, the Fed has made a lot of progress from the time it started monetary policy tightening to where we are today. So that progress has been from 7% inflation down to 2.5%, and the Fed's target is 2%. So the tone of the Fed in terms of how inflation is being managed has been a lot more confident in this meeting than it has in previous meetings. The fourth metric that we look at is growth. So you are seeing some slowdown in growth. The growth for the first half of 2024 has come in at 2.1%, and in the same time last year it was about 3.1%. So clearly the Fed does have a variety of risks that it's looking at and trying to manage at the same time. So on one hand, they have to combat inflation and bringing it to the target range. On the other hand, they have to think about a slowing job market as well as a slowing economy. So balancing these two risks is going to be the priority for the Fed, and they're quite vocal about the fact that there are no easy decisions to make and that they have to make judgment calls, and no one knows in advance how judgment calls will play out. This is why it's a little bit hard to dissect the tone of this policy and say whether the Fed is being hawkish or dovish. While they have opened up room for rate cuts as early as September, they are not committing to early rate cuts. So this leaves us in a situation where we're wondering about how the Fed will tackle the incoming data and what signs they're going to be looking at in terms of monetary policy decisions. If we look at how the Fed is analyzing inflation, this time around is a lot better than in December 2023. At the end of the last year, it sounded like the Fed's policy was quite dovish and they were leaning into rate cuts, and market participants were expecting multiple rate cuts in the early part of 2024. But as 2024 rolled in, the Fed realized that much of the deflation had only happened on the goods inflation component of inflation and not across services and housing. But if we look at where we are today, in the last one quarter, there's been significant deflation that's happened in goods, housing services as well as non-housing services. So according to the Fed, the quality of disinflation in the last quarter has actually been much better than the disinflation that they saw in 2023. Now coming back to the second part of the mandate, which is with respect to the labor markets, according to the Fed, right now that slight uptick in the unemployment rate and the slowdown is just a normalization in the market. But it could also be the signs of an earlier weakening which could spiral out, and that's one of the reasons why the Fed wants to keep all of its options open and to be able to act on the economy as quickly as they can to prevent any deep kind of slowdown. But given how the macroeconomic conditions are at the moment, it doesn't look like the Fed will have a hard landing. The Fed's approach to monetary policy has actually been quite interesting because they've talked about their dual mandate and how the focus had to shift to inflation when inflation got out of control, and now we are back to even focus, which means the Fed is going to pay equal attention to both labor market conditions as well as inflation going forward. And this is why predicting whether the next policy will announce a rate cut or not does not really make sense, because the Fed, in its own words, is data dependent and not data point dependent, which means they're not looking at any one or two numbers to make a decision. They're looking for a continuity in terms of trends. So that's a wrap for the Fed's July policy. We hope we covered everything that was important to you. What we're going to be doing next week is a Twitter space on monetary policy that covers both the Fed and the RBI's actions. We hope you'll be joining us there.